Welcome to Lifestyle by Days. Time to save some big money. Today's DIY is about how to fix or repair damages in your drywalls, being it the wall or the ceilings. Over here, I have a damage in my ceiling, and as you can see, I went through the entire DIY process to replace the damaged area on my ceiling. Unfortunately, even though I was recording the entire process, I later realized that part of the video was not recorded. Nevertheless, I went ahead to make a demonstrational video to show how I literally replaced the damaged area of the drywall to get it to where it is now. Here I have a drywall that represents my ceiling, and as you can see, I've got a hole or a damage inside. Now I'm about to cut a square around the hole. Cut it into a square piece. Now there are different tools that you can actually use to cut your drywalls, including utility knife. And right here, I am using a utility knife to cut my drywall into a square piece. The goal is to always make sure you cut deep enough into the drywall, so when it's time to get a piece out, it can easily come out without causing damage to the rest of the drywall. Also, it helps you to have sharp edges or clean edges. Now that your square is nicely cut out, you can use a sellotape, a transparent sellotape, paste it over the square hole. I have aligned my sellotape vertically to the width of the square. Now I am using any writing material, a marker or a pen, to mark out the edges or the size of my square. Then cut it out, take the piece off the drywall, and use it to measure the exact size, leaving some clearance or allowance around it. That makes it easier to fit in the square piece. Now bear in mind, there are different ways of repairing or fixing your drywalls or damages. As far as the other methods are concerned, this is one of the most durable and reliable ways of fixing your drywall, as using that wooden piece to brace the back actually creates a support for your repairs. You insert the wood through the cutout hole, put it behind, and then you go ahead and screw your drywall to the wood, creating a reliable and efficient back support. Over here, I am using my drills to actually drill in the screws. I first and foremost secure the wood to the broader drywall, and then later I screwed in my piece of square to actually cover up the hole. Now The pros are always investing into complex tools, costly tools, tools that cost money. But when it comes to everyday dad and mom doing DIY or individuals doing DIYs, we always don't have the complex tools. This demonstration is to just prove to you that if you don't have a drill, you can still use a drywall nail and a hammer to accomplish the same process. Just be careful not to hammer around the wall and create damages. After all is said and done, I went ahead and quickly did some sanding just to get the surface even and clean. Now it's time to apply our joint compound or putty. Others call it the sheet rock putty. There are different brands out there, and also remember we have the lightweights and the heavy duty ones. The lightweights always for smaller holes, for repairs of smaller holes, whilst the heavy duties are for repairs of bigger, broader holes. Here I'm using a heavy duty one. With my putty knife, I'm applying my putty, on top over, so you can see how nicely the surface is covered. Now don't forget, this demonstration is to also show you that you can also use drywall tapes. They have the mesh and they have the tape. You can use either of them. Most people from research actually tells you they prefer the paper. It actually helps to prevent cracks in the joints in the future and makes the entire repair more durable. I decided to also use another type of drywall putty that goes on pink and it dries white. The pink color actually allows you to see how your application is going. You can visibly see what you are doing. So far so good. We went from having a damage or a hole in the wall to exactly where we are now. Things are looking pretty good. So this is exactly how I replace my damaged drywall. Back to reality. This is my ceiling. After I applied my joint compound or the putty, I waited for it to be dry. You always want to check the time for the cure or the time it takes for your joint compound or your putty to dry. You always want to check it on the type or brand of joint compound that you are using so you can follow through. Now that my putty is dried, I am sanding it down. After sanding, I dust it all up so as to promote good adhesion of my paint to the wall, or in other words, so my paint can have a good bond to the surface. I dusted it nicely, and then as usual, I have begun painting my ceiling the same color as the rest of the ceiling. I am using my brushes to paint the corners and the joints where the ceiling actually meets the wall. The sole purpose of this is to actually prevent me from reaching out further when I start using my paint rollers to paint the broader surfaces, so as not to stain those areas I never intended to paint. When it comes to painting your rooms or interior paintings, it is always advisable to paint your ceilings first. And the purpose is that, or the reason is that, it helps you prevent splashing paint onto the walls. If you paint your walls first and you start painting the ceiling, chances are that your paint is gonna splash or drip onto the walls and thereby creating extra works for you. Now you have to go back trying to clean up the wall, repaint over the wall, which is going to actually cost you time and money, and also fatigue. Now, after painting my ceiling, as you can see, I have started painting the walls the same color, soft purple, light soft purple, and I am actually using my brushes to cut the joints and the edges and also cut around the door frames. So far so good. Everything is looking immaculate. Everything is looking beautiful and original. You could barely tell the difference. Once the paint is dry, you could barely identify or know that there has been some kind of repair work done over there. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more interesting videos like this one. See you.